All I'm offering is the truth. Nothing.
A lot of times when people ask me what my favorite movie is, it's hard to decide. I don't really have an answer for that. I have favorite movies in different genres by different directors, let alone some one favorite movie. But I'm open to the question, and it's always an interesting one that deserves a response, I believe. So over the years, for a long time, really, my go-to answer for what my favorite movie of all time is has been The Matrix. The Matrix, The Matrix, The Matrix, The Matrix. I love that movie. I love the story. I love the universe that it's set in. I'm not a fan of the last one that came out. We don't speak of it, and that's the last I'll say about it. But The Matrix, of course, the first one, and then definitely 2 and 3, which a lot of people, they have their criticisms of, but I just like the continuation of the story and the allegory from Messiah to Savior to Sacrificial Lamb, with potential for other things to happen. So I love the philosophy that's in it. I love the action that's in it. I love the new technology that was in it. I loved all the different moving parts of it, all the things that made you think, all the different layers that just make it the type of movies. And let me also mention the Animatrix. The Animatrix movies, where, me personally, I could just watch it over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's not too many times I can watch The Matrix. Also at many times in my life, I've done different projects where, the go-to is, hey, I'll talk about The Matrix. I remember the first time I saw the trailer, a long time ago, dating myself, of course, but I remember the first time I saw the trailer, I think I was at the movie with my dad and my sister. It's crazy to say I remember than say I think, but I'm sure I was. But the trailer comes on, it's just a guy in a suit chasing somebody. It cuts to some screen. I haven't watched the trailer recently, but from memory, I'm thinking, because it was a mystery. It was just like, what is The Matrix? And it was like, whatisthematrix.com was a website you could go to. I never ended up doing that. But then when we saw The Matrix, it's just everything you could ever want in a movie, from action to romance to humor to comedy. Humor and comedy is the same thing. Sci-fi, adventure. I mean, I don't know what, there's mystery to it. I don't know what genre it doesn't actually touch on. Even if you're into martial arts movies, it hits that. Hey, if you're into the cooking channel, you get the oatmeal goop and you get a good steak. It hits every single genre. I can't think of one genre that it doesn't hit unless you get super specific into subgenres that are very nuanced. Other than that, it has everything I could want in the movie. And I just love all the characters, every single one, from the heroes to the villains to everything in between. Neo, Trinity, Cypher, Agent Smith, the Oracle, the potentials. Did I say Morpheus? I'll say Morpheus again. Shout out Lawrence Fishburne. But I just love that movie. There was always rumor, Will Smith always tells this story about how he was pitched The Matrix and he was supposed to be Neo. And I love Will Smith as far as movies and music and all that different stuff. And then just I read his book and everything. I'm a fan of Will Smith. There's a category of people that I'm a fan of. Not a fanatic, but just the use of that word. When Will Smith talks about he was pitched in that movie, I forgot who would have been the other guy on the other side of it, because they said if he was going to be Neo, then they would have had a white guy as Morpheus. And really, when I think back, I could see my man's Weaver, the guy who played Agent Smith. I could see him being Morpheus if he wanted to be, but not as cold, still robotic. I don't know. I love Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus because even though he has this candor to it, I take that back about the agents, maybe. But even though he has this candor to it, this candor to it, he has this soul. He has the conviction of a prophet, and it's just I wouldn't change anything about The Matrix. I love it how it is. And if Will Smith would have been Neo, that would have been different. But Keanu Reeves as Neo, and you could say whatever you want about his brand of acting. His brand of acting was perfect for that role because it allows for just enough for it to be like, that's Neo. And then this other white space that's there a blank space that you can kind of project yourself onto, so you can connect to that character in this way of like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Well, I'm waking up from the Matrix because Neo's representing all of us finding out what the Matrix is and waking up to this new world and deciding who we're going to be and what we're going to be in it, and all these choices that need to be made along the way. And it's really a thing of like, is there choice? Is there fate? You know, that's the question. Do all your choices are really just the step-by-step of your fate that have already been designed into you, and you're just pushed, each step along the way towards what you are inevitably going to come to in the first place? I don't know. But anyway, all of that out the way is to say I love The Matrix. Definitely one of my top movies ever. But I got a lot of top movies. So, to my surprise, when I was scrolling on social media one day and came across this ad for COSM, and I had heard of COSM before. I had interviewed for a position at COSM. I was aware of the place, this new setup of a theater that kind of has this globe-ish, half a globe type screen, maybe a third of a globe, that give you a more immersive feel when you're watching something. They have showings of like the Cirque du Soleil, and they have sports games that they show. But I believe this is their first movie that they're showing The Matrix at COSM, and it's supposed to be this immersive experience. And when I saw it, I was just like, I gotta check that out. I gotta check that out because it's only so often you get to see The Matrix on the big screen. I saw it recently, this past Halloween at Alamo Draft House. They were showing it on the big screen. Had to go check that out. You know, Maria was with me. Shout out Maria. Came with me. She was on her Trinity shit. And I was on my baklava, how you said, the shiesty. I had that on, and then just all black and some, I was doing my version of it. No specific character, but if I was in the Matrix, that's what it would have looked like maybe. If I had access to that loading, that white space loading zone, the construct, then maybe I probably have more resources to really get what I want. But anyway, The Matrix at the COSM. On my way to check out the 3D experience at COSM of The Matrix, one of my favorite movies ever. This is supposedly something that puts you right inside the action as deep as possible. They had to reformat the movie to fit the screen. It's a very globe-like curved screen or something like that. So I'm gonna go inside, check it out, see what it's talking about. A lot of the seats were taken up. They were booked up for all these different times. So I went at a certain time and I got really great seats. It wasn't the specific seats on the second level because I before I went there and purchased the tickets, I wanted to see what the seats look like, where the best places to go. Because when you look on it, when you look at the map like on Ticketmaster and you see the seats, it doesn't really tell you what it's gonna look like because it's a specific shape to the screen. So I went and took a tour of the place first. One of the homies working down there showed me the different levels. And the second level, he said that's the most immersive experience because that's the closest to the screen. And then you can get up to the third level, which is more of a theater view. But there's a central theater view. And when I looked on when I looked on Yelp, they said, a lot of people said they like the third row, section C and D. And then I'm not sure how many people mentioned the second row, but when I went, I saw how much closer to the screen the second row gets, and I was like, oh, I can see how it's immersive because you're just all in it. After going there, I'm happy with my choice of the third level because I liked being able to see the entire screen. You can see the top of the globe all the way to the bottom, which is just like I'm getting the fullest experience of the COSM screen with The Matrix. And so, when you go into the building, it's decked out with Matrix. There's a Matrix photo phone booth that you can go to and get your pictures off, like Trinity when she was like when the truck was about to hit her, or the other time when they were about to get out the Matrix and she's taking all day to tell Neo something and not talking, and then the agent shoots the receiver off the phone when she gets to go home, and so that makes Neo have to do all this other stuff, and that's an understatement to finally get where he needs to go. But I guess that was the path he needed to take to become who he needed to become. Anyway, being at COSM, you go in, go up the elevators, it's all decked out. They got the red pill, blue pill drinks. You can choose which one you want. That's great. They're serving food, everything like that, and you sit back in your seat. And I was finding, it's comfortable seats because, they have these other chairs that you can select from, but I wasn't really sure how comfortable those high seat chairs would be. I'm not sure, so I did want the booth to sit back in. And seeing the Matrix on screen, it was just beautiful because one of the workers there had told me they needed to format it to the screen so that it'll work correctly, and I wasn't sure what he meant. I was like, what, did they just stretch the dimensions or something like that? But when I got there, I saw it's like, oh, they've added another piece to the Matrix. It's like the extra screen is now an extra part of the Matrix to really put you into the movie, and it acts as really as its own character thing, like going along with it. It really is an added experience because when Neo chooses the red pill or the blue pill, the red pill lights up when he finally makes that choice. When he's going on the scaffolding, when he's being chased by the agents, they put you outside on the building. They do a little top-down thing, like the background will move at different points with the action on screen to really put you in the perspective, and it's very interactive. It's very cool. For anybody who's a longtime fan of The Matrix, it's definitely worth going to check it out and getting that experience because it is an added experience. And I'm really glad I got the chance to go. And so, I do these movie raps, and I'm gonna do a lot. I do these movie raps. I've done them for Sinners, and that's really been the biggest one so far. But also the Straw movie that Tyler Perry came out with, and Phoenician Scheme by Wes Anderson. Sinners was by Ryan Coogler. And Final Destination, I can't remember who that's by, but that was cool too. And so for The Matrix, for the level of movie that this is for me, I wanted to just give the rap that I did for this one just a certain experience. So I had to, I was like, whenever I do one of these, I check out the movie and then I write what I'm gonna write about it. And so for this one, I was like, oh, let me wait to go to COSM and see the movie and then do a whole thing for it and do a write-up for it based off that experience. It's still just strictly about the movie, but I just wanted to be able to include in this episode all these different aspects of the COSM experience because it really was dope. It's really worth going to see. It's a cool show, and they have a nice setup there. I really don't like the ticketing experience as far as if you need to change anything because Fever, their ticketing app, their third-party ticketing app that they have, they don't control that. The customer service for Fever is all right. You really gotta go through chat. They have a number you can call, but it's not the cleanest, it's not the easiest. It is a headache if you need to change anything. And also sometimes they'll have things scheduled as if there's a showing, but there's not really a showing. And it's something incorrect on their end within the system because I ran into that because I thought I could get this 11 o'clock Matrix showing, but they weren't showing the Matrix at that time. It just happened to be added on the Fever app, but not on the COSM site. So, they need to get that alignment together. But outside of that, amazing experience. And so after that, not much more to do but to introduce, this is Rapping The Matrix. Computer code, a truth untold, a world of manufactured souls. Morpheeses, Trinitieses will wake up JavaScripted Jesus. When his eyes are closed, it's the deepest sleep, cause awakeness feels like the cheapest dream. And the bore of work's a trying task, in a maze of cubicles, dodging fast. To escape, just climb these heights of glass, or walk out with his hands behind his back. The men's warehouse mafia guards the gate. They'll take anybody, and they're hard to face. Every choice is step down the rabbit hole, till they trace his body to where it actually grows. Artificial belly, flush him with the jelly, baptized in the sewer, birthed into a new world. Quickly given fate, taught what's real and fake, learning combat and which rules can bend and break. Saw the oracle for oneness, but she told him no. Fed him Oreos and Morpheus don't want to know. He's the fallen leader when the agents drop. On the phone, they decipher the traitor's plot. Bring the fight to them, bullets right to them. Chopper slice through the wind, save a life again. Agents crucify him, but he'll rise again. Then demise his twin, then take flight to end. The Matrix. You pay.